Wondering how to set up and paint a still life from home? Come and join me and find out. Hi, I'm Alisa of Alisa Laporte Art, and today I thought it would be fun to show you how to set up and paint a still life. I found some fruits that I have and I thought I would set them up and show you guys how to paint them. This will be a fun and loose painting, so come and join me. And you can set up with whatever you have, whether it's fruits, vegetables, bottles, jars, whatever you have that would be of interest to you. Now let's go paint. You're going to need your paper, your paints, some brushes, fresh water. I have a scrap paper here. I have what I'm going to paint right here. Over here I've set up a whiteboard. I want it to be white because it will give me nice clean shadows. I have it propped up so it's flat, and then I have a lamp here to shine on my setup. This video might be darker because I will need to have more lights off so I don't get a lot of reflective light. I'm going to set up my props, checking different angles. I'm going to turn this light on and this light off. I will keep one other light on so you guys can see what I'm doing. But usually when you paint a still life, you want only one light source. So I will have to have a little bit of ambient light, but it should be okay. I like how I have things set up here. You don't have to use fruit. You can use anything you want that's around the house, like jars and bottles, toys, cloths. I really enjoy painting the fruit. I think they would be fun and great for a kitchen. This one and others that I've done will be for sale on my website, and I will have that linked below. I like how one of my lemons has direct light and it's creating some nice shadows under here. Do you see how this back lemon changed when I put my hand next to it? That's because the light is reflecting off my hand. Anything around an object can influence it, so be aware of that when painting. It will change the colors and values. I really like this form of painting. I used to hate still life, mostly because I liked painting people and animals and I thought they were so interesting, and I still do, but I've really grown to like this setup with the fruits and vegetables, plants, with bright, vibrant colors, and allowing myself to be very loose. From the point of view I will be at, you can see some green and some muted violets, which are created by our shadows, so we want to be very aware of those colors. I'm going to take my pencil and lightly sketch out what I'm seeing over here. Let me move things around and get things situated. While I'm sketching, I'm going to just hold my board up a little bit. I need it at an angle to make sure I'm getting things accurate, but I want you to still be able to see it. You want your sketch to take a decent amount of space on your page. It doesn't have to be exact. I want this to be more of a feeling than complete accuracy. This lemon will be looking at me, and I'm not going to draw every wedge, just making it look like a lemon. No one will know or count if it is exactly the same. I'm more worried about my values. Don't mistake accuracy for perfection. I mean, I do still want it accurate because I want it to look like a lemon, and I want it to have the right perspective. I guess I'm meaning that don't try to make this look exactly like the lemon that you're seeing. Make it look like a lemon, maybe point out some of its specific characteristics that make it very interesting and unique to that lemon, but don't try to spend so much time getting this exactly how it looks that you miss the whole point of this painting. Just spend 5 to 10 minutes tops on your sketch, okay? This will allow your sketch to be very loose and not to overthink it. Sorry, excuse me while I just straighten this up even more. I want to make sure to look at it straight on to make sure that the perspective is right. To help keep this painting loose, I'm going to use this 1/2-inch flat brush. Get larger brushes so you don't have to noodle around your painting so much. We want to really keep this loose and light. We want to add water first so we can do a wet on wet and mingled wash. We want to start very light using our lemon yellow. These swatches are from my yellow mixing video. If you haven't seen it, I will leave a link down below. I try to make sure that I keep my highlight. Sorry, this is a little out of focus right here. I don't know why. I'm just toning the fruit right now, putting some color on just to get that in there. This is white, so I want to stay clear of that. Make sure to leave highlights in the meat of the lemons as well. Make sure you're leaving your whites. This is very important, especially at this stage. And we do have a band of yellow in this shadow from the reflective light bouncing off the white surface. Look at the shape of your shadow. I'm going to use ultramarine blue to create some of these shadows, which will make green with that yellow that we already have there. That's just what I want. I want it to kind of bleed in together. I can always go in and make these shadows darker. I want that natural blending of watercolors as well. Now I'm going to go into this orange mix I already have here, which is quinacridone gold and cad red light. Because on this side of your lemon, we are getting reflective light from the other two lemons, and it's creating an orange because it's very concentrated in that shadow. We want to make sure that we keep it very subtle and light orange because it is a very strong color. Let's go into our lemon yellow and cad red light. We have a soft orange on this side of our lemon as well. And here we're going to go into our Indian Yellow by Sennelier. It's lighter and very luminous. I want that softer, and I'm barely touching my paper as I do this. I like using my flat brush when doing this because I get different shapes and textures that I don't normally get. Sorry. We'll go in here with our Indian Yellow, darken up a few areas here. I don't want it to be too orange. This one borders on orange and yellow, so it's perfect. We'll add some up here, and the light is hitting near at the top and over here. I really want to make sure I keep this as white as I can for as long as I can. You will see more definition of that later. And again, this side and over here will have more color, and on the pulp of the lemon here and here we'll have more highlights. I just want to darken a few spots. This is an exercise to play with color and value as well to loosen up. I've got that orange under here as well. And since my Indian Yellow is a shade darker from Winsor & Newton than the one from Sennelier, I'm going to move to that one and start on darkening things a little bit more. This will be our second layer. If your painting is a little wet, I would dry it just to make sure we don't create mud. You want to keep your edges still soft. It's going to get darker here and then be light here because of the highlight reflecting off of the board. So just remember that. Doing this from life, setting things up, it's valuable. You will see things that you would never have seen or realized in a photo, so this is a great exercise to do every once in a while. This painting, both the original and prints, will be for sale, and I will link those in the description below if you want to check those out. I have a lot of green on the back side of this lemon, and I'm going to use this lighter green we get with our lemon yellow. I'm going in, touching it lightly, then evaluating and assessing where I'm at, looking for where I might have other greens, like here. Because our lemon is yellow and our shadows are blue, we will see some of the greens mixed in there, and we get oranges from the light, which warms things up. Add some green, then blend that out. I don't want too many hard edges. We are also going to have some neutralization in our shadows, so we will add a little of violet to create those. Add some on top and some on the side. We want to have them in the green side being more cool in our shadows. Then delicately add that in. I'm going to take some of my Azo Yellow and charge that in right there. It was looking a little orange, and I want to freshen it up and have it look more yellow. So take some fresh water, soften it up, and then put some on the underside over here and in our shadows a little bit. I love that rich and intense yellow. Look how beautiful this is looking. I'm very, very happy with it. Now I'm going to darken our green up a little bit more, giving more definition to those edges. I'm going to add a little bit of texture up here with that green. Now I want to warm up our shadow just a little bit more underneath that lemon. Let's go in with our Indian Yellow from Winsor & Newton, remembering to leave highlights that define things a little bit more. Now I noticed I'm starting to lose my highlight up here, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water and blot it out with a paper towel. When it dries a little, I will add some shadows with our violet, blending it in so it's not too pronounced. I need to tone down my shadows because they are too light. You can add a combination of violet and ultramarine blue to achieve this. I don't want to muddy our colors, so be careful and let it dry or blow dry it, so then we can add our third layer, pushing our values even more. Just so there's no confusion, we're actually working on our second layer right now. I just want you to be aware that we need to let things really dry before we move on to our third layer, which is going to be where we add all of our details and our intense colors. Now I'm just blending out these shadows because as they move further away from the subject, they will get softer. I'm going to go in and add some very light detailing. Now this isn't our main detailing because we will use that with more of our intense colors, and I want to be very careful to keep this a loose painting, so I'm really just adding that next layer to help to really relay what is going on in this lemon, seeing the pulp and the highlights and the shadows, and just really paying attention to the objects that are right there in front of us, how the light is hitting it, what is happening with our shadows. That's what this study is about. It's paying attention to the things that are happening right in front of you. Starting with our third layer, we want to really make sure we have a thick paint, almost the consistency of cream or butter. And now that our paper is dry, I can go in and intensify our shadows. They're just a little bit too light, so I'm going to go in and really punch those up. You want to charge these in with thicker pigments. Don't mix them on your tray, but mix them on your paper. So just put them straight in to your painting. This will create a look that is both beautiful and fresh. If you're wondering where I'm getting this yellow in our shadow, it's from our light reflecting onto the surface, bouncing up onto the lemon, and then creating this light on our surface here. For these shadows, I'm mostly going to use just ultramarine blue and our violet. I really want to minimize the amount of colors I'm using in there just so I don't create mud. I will use a little bit of the quinacridone gold if I use any other color, just to keep those highlights from that yellow there. Now I'm going to go in and pull in some yellows, really creating more of an abstract feel. I'm just going to take that and brush it over and allow that to mix. Just leave it, and it'll create these beautiful abstractions within our piece. You want to make sure when you do this that you're going in full strength, because you need that thicker paint. When your paint is thicker, it will sit on top of the wash that we already have there so that you're not getting blossoms, and it kind of settles in, and it will blend just a bit with the paint that's already there, but it's not going to bleed out and become uncontrollable. I'm going to start adding in some fun colors around our lemons, keeping the same color palette, and this will give us a nice background, and it will help make our lemon really pop. As you're doing this though, remember to take things slow and to not overwork it. You don't want to create muddy colors doing this. So I just kind of go through and add a few colors, stop, maybe blend it out a little bit, then add another color, blend it out, and evaluate, let it dry, because if you start just adding too many colors, it will create that mud, as you saw when we add those purples with our oranges or yellows, it will neutralize them. So just something to be aware of as you're putting them in. If you have a lighter color that's got less pigment in it, maybe add a color that has more pigment so that it can settle on top, creating clean and beautiful colors. After we've created our background, it's time to go in for some last looks and adjust our lemon just a little bit more, because once you put in that background, you will need a little bit further adjustments. You can take a picture of this in black and white just to see how you're doing with your values. Are you getting them there? And so I did take a picture of mine and it looked good, but I think it needed a few little adjustments, so that's what I'm doing here. And then I will start going in with my details. So for our details, we want to really go in with our darkest darks now. And I still want to make sure I have them softened a little bit. So I'm going to add in those really, really dark shadows, and then I will go back in and soften them up just a bit, because I really don't want too many hard lines in this painting. Before I sign my painting, I want to add some muted yellows to add into our shadows. This exercise has helped me to not be so tight in my painting. This is great practice for you if you are trying to loosen up. This is more about getting our values right. If you're struggling with values, I have a video here that goes into a lot more detail and will be linked below. I hope you enjoyed doing this fun and loose painting with me. Were you able to loosen up in this piece? With everything going on, I've been thinking about doing some live streaming of me painting and we can chat. Let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in the comments, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, it really helps me out. And click that bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos, and I'll see you in the next one.